Welcome to the Your Color Style podcast, where we believe the more you know about color, the more you'll know what colors flatter you best. I'm your host, Jen Thoden. I had the great pleasure of interviewing Pamela Lutrell from the blog After 50 Feeling 40. She is from San Antonio, Texas. She declares herself a true Texan through and through. And this conversation, I really think that you're going to enjoy. We talk a lot about reinventing yourself after a certain age. She reveals what her foundational 5 is. If you don't know what that is, you're going to want to listen because it's for me. I can't wait to do the exercise. And this conversation has a lot of great advice and inspirational topics, and I hope that you enjoy it very much. So here we go. Here's Pamela. I loved your story, and I love how you use the word reinvention multiple times, not only through how you explained your story, but also throughout some of your blog posts and stuff. So for our listeners, would you please share with us your story? What inspired you to create this blog, and where were you in your life that really made you decide to create this fashion blog?
Well, I was a typical woman, I think, in many ways. I think many women during motherhood can easily lose themselves. And I was not a mother until I was 31 years old. So I had children later in life. But between having the busyness of having children and dealing with in-laws and life and everything, I put myself at the bottom of the priority list. And then I had my mother and a mother-in-law that were very critical. And sometimes I could just put that on and wear it, and started gaining weight, wasn't taking care of my health. And then I went back to work. I had left work. I'd left my professional career for a little while, had children, and I stayed at home with them while they were little. But then I went back to work, and I got very busy with being back at work. And somehow I was looking in a mirror, but somehow I wasn't really looking in a mirror. I just was, I was just so busy. It was like, okay, that looks fine. And that word fine, that looks fine. And so I'd rush out. Well, when I turned 50, I got this notice from Texas Department of Public Safety that I needed to go get a new driver's license. Very annoying. And so I went down, had my picture taken, and I have no idea why that moment, that day, but when I opened up that driver's license, I looked at a woman I didn't know. And I literally sat down and went, whoa. I was just taken aback by how awful and old I looked. I had turned 50, but as far as I was concerned, I looked much, much older in the driver's license picture. And even though I was smiling, I still it was a picture of someone that said, the message that I was sending was, I don't care. And I don't care about me. I don't care. And so it really got my attention. About that time, my daughter introduced me to a television show called What Not to Wear. And here was Stacy and Clinton every night it was on talking about me. And they put these women up there and I go, oh my gosh, that's me. And so there was a series of wake-up calls kind of going on around the same time. And I made a determination that I was going to take me back, that it was time for Pamela to come back and to enter the game again. And so I became a student because I'm a journalism major. I've been a journalist my whole life, literally. And I decided in 5th grade I was going to major in journalism. I've always loved research and study and researching things. So I became a student literally of good health, of style and fashion, of beauty and how to put on makeup again. And got my hair done. And I completely became a student of learning new things, learning how to dress to look thinner, learning how,
Mm-hmm.
learning about messaging, and that something that just floored me that I'd never noticed before was that what I put on my body sends a message to the rest of the world about me. And that had never soaked into me before. So
Right.
I started learning all these things. And so from like age 50 to age 55, I started turning my life around and reinventing myself. And there was so much joy in it. I discovered so
Mm-hmm.
much joy in it because I could smile again. I was enjoying looking at me. It was fun. I love clothes. I love fashion. So I was enjoying all that part of it. And I was learning so much. I started telling my friends what I was learning. Oh my gosh, you'd look great if you do this, or you need to try this, or this facial cream is amazing, or and I started telling all my friends this stuff. So my very closest friend, who is an art teacher, looked at me and she said, "You need to start a blog." And this was in 2010. And I said, I don't know what a blog is. And she said, "No, go, you need to do a blog." So I went and started reading about it, researching it. And so July 1st, 2010, I started a blog. I was so embarrassed. I called myself the headless blogger because all my pictures were without my head. I would put up an outfit and talk about why I put it together, what it did, blah, 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 but no head. And it was precious other bloggers that said, "You need to show yourself." or I'd take pictures of me reading a newspaper or reading a book in front of my face. I thought it was a great creative idea not to show my face. So I think about it now. It's so funny. But, so first I got amazed that women wanted to read it. I chose the name Over 50 Feeling 40 because that's what I was feeling at that time. I knew I was over 50, but I was feeling great. And I wanted a name that communicated to other women over 50. And, after turning 60, people said to me, "Aren't you going to change the name?" Well, no, I'm always the rest of my life going to be over 50. And I hopefully always will be feeling great. And so, so I said, no, I'm not going to change the name, but it's been a hoot. I've been amazed that women would read it. I've been amazed. The first time a brand wanted to work with me, I was like, "Are you serious?" And that was so exciting. It's exciting to write. It's exciting to study and do more material. It's exciting to take them through. I mean, since 2010, I've been through ups and downs, and there's just recently been a refreshing of the reinvention. And so I've talked about that. Now, a lot of my readers are not in my world, but they still want to hear advice and to see inspiration. And a lot of my readers are retired now. And I am still in the professional world. I have a job I go to every day, a professional job. I'm in management and communications at a major public university. And I go to that job every day as well as doing the blog. So there are some women like me that are still out there working, but a lot of them are retired. And so I'm trying to bring in more of the retired content now, just to kind of balance it out a little bit. But it's been a lot of fun. I've been able to travel. I've met lovely people. I feel like I have a woman in just about every major city in the world that I could call and say, "Hey, I'm in town," and we'd go to dinner and enjoy one another and have fun.
Well, now you have one in DC, so you can call me.
And I love DC. I love DC.
So I love that story because it really hits me home personally. And I know that many readers have gone through many of the similar storylines. They spent a bit of their time, giving themselves to their family or to their spouse or to whatever it is, and they forget about themselves. And I love that you got, everybody has their wake up moment. Some people haven't yet, right? But the people who have, they get to a point where they're like, enough's enough, and I'm ready. I'm ready to either bring myself back or find a new version of me, or maybe I never really knew myself at all. Like,
Right.
how do I get there? And so they obviously start looking online, and they find blogs like you. One of the things I love that you had said was that you became a student.
Yes.
And I really feel like making an emphasis on that for those that are listening to this, because it's all about really giving yourself permission to learn again, to be okay that you have no idea what looks good anymore, and to just start looking out there and trying and finding inspiration and becoming that student again. And so I love that you chose to do that with yourself, and then of course turn it around and to help others find themselves as well. So that's pretty great.
I think it's one of the reasons that we as women over 50, I think it's one of the reasons that we stay current is when we are studying what's good for us, we're also studying what's happening in the world. And I think it helps keep our mind working, our mind alive. And, you know, when I realized the blog was going the direction of fashion and that I was going to be a fashion blogger, which I thought, oh, that's funny. And so, you know, when I realized it was going that direction, I took an online course from a university in Italy. So I understood fashion and fashion merchandising, because I wanted to understand the world if I was going to be a little bit a part of it.
Sure. Yeah. And that's great. You know, like I have been certified 3 different times in the color analysis world before I did my own thing.
Right.
Well, because I'm curious and I want to know and I want to understand and I, you know, what's working for me? Well, if that's not working for me, that's probably not working for somebody else. And how can I explain that differently? And, you know, we become a student of our own selves in many ways.
Yes.
I love to learn, just like you, love to learn new things. You also said something really interesting, in your story just now. You had said that, you know, how we dress is really how we're messaging out to the world, who we are.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I like to add to that a little bit, because I completely agree. You know, I don't even think we realize what messages we're sending out there until you start to really pay attention and become self-aware. You know, that moment you become self-aware, you're like, oh man, what am I telling people? That I'm tired, that I'm old, that I'm, you know, worn out or whatever. And when you start to change your appearance, you know, tightening it up, you start sending hopefully a more positive message. I also think that message comes backwards into you, right? I mean, when we see ourselves in the mirror, just like you said, you saw yourself in your driver's license photo, you're telling yourself all kinds of horrible things. And which is, you know, we're our worst critics, aren't we? And so I also feel like when you change that image that you see of yourself, that also you internalize that as well. I think it's kind of like a perpetual thing, you know, it's like the chicken before the egg, but you start to really read those positive messages inward, and then that comes back out in better ways too.
Oh, I think it's so important. You know, when I look in the mirror every day, I do not see an old woman. I don't see a woman that I would call old. I see a successful professional woman that's enjoying life. And every now and then I might focus in on a wrinkle, but but really I just think it's so important to control our messaging. And that's how I developed a personal style, was learning to control the messaging of what I was sending out. And I do not believe I would have had the confidence to go out and interview for a new job at age 64 if I had not done this.
So tell us a little bit more about that. A new job at age 64. What was that all about?
Well, I taught high school. I taught high school journalism for 16 years. And one of the reasons I did it was because I was teaching at a private school and I wanted all 3 of my children to have private education. So I worked a deal with the school and they actually allowed me to set up a journalism department. We had a news magazine, a broadcast team. It was tons of fun. But after my children graduated and had gone on, the school was going through some changing in leadership. And I thought, this might be a good time for me to also move on. So I decided to move on. And my husband and I had a talk, and he has a plan of where we need to be in a certain number of years and planning toward retirement and things of that sort. But he wanted me to have a job that had a guaranteed paycheck. The thing about blogging is sometimes you bring income in, sometimes you don't. And, and also with fashion blogging, what seasons are good, but then there's other seasons that are very quiet. So, so I agreed that I would keep working. Well, the first job I had, I was actually editor of a magazine, but the magazine industry in print magazine is not doing real well. And so I thought, no, I need to find something else. So I kept my eyes open, and I told him, I said, look, I'm 64. Who's going to hire a 64-year-old? I said, I just don't want you to get your hopes up too much, is what I told my husband. But I saw this job come available, and in the list of what they were looking for, I read that and said, well, I can do that. I can do those things with my eyes closed, because one thing I have is lots of experience. And because I was a career woman in marketing, in the marketing world before I had children, and then taught school and all of that. So anyway, I had the confidence that I could go to the interview and I could go for the job, because I was such a confident person, and am such a confident person now than who I was when I started this reinvention at age 50. The reinvention has resulted in confidence, strength, dignity, joy, all of those things. And so I had the confidence I could go. I didn't know if they would take me seriously, but it turned out that what they needed was experience. They didn't want to take time to train a younger person. They wanted somebody who knew how to do all these things. And so they hired me, and that's where I've been working. But I really feel like it was from that confidence. And when I dressed for the interview, I put on an outfit that I felt like projected confidence and professionalism. And so I always, ever since I started thinking about the messaging, I always think about the messaging when I'm going someplace, is what do I want to say about me? And I'm probably going to make a lot of your listeners mad, but it's one of the reasons I don't wear distressed jeans. because I don't like what jeans with holes in them say about me. Okay. And so but see, it's individual. It's an individual thing. And so you have to set up what you want to communicate, what adjectives you want to send with your own wardrobe. And if you stay true to that, you will develop a personal style.
I love that. Let's stick with that just for a little bit longer, because I do think that people are going to really resonate with this. You wrote to me when you first kind of, gave me some of your responses to some of the questions I was going to ask you, and you used the phrase foundational 5. Yes. And this was all about how you described your personal style. I would love for you to share that, because I feel like that is a missing piece for a lot of people when they're trying to figure out and put all this pressure on themselves to define their personal style, right? They're like, oh, I don't have a personal style. Well, I actually think everybody does. You don't always know where to start. So share with us this foundational 5. What is that?
I have.
We'll get back to talking with Pamela in just a moment. If you're struggling trying to figure out what colors look best on you, go ahead and take the quiz out on yourcolorstyle.com. It's yourcolorstyle.com/quiz. It's absolutely free, and it will walk you through step by step how you can figure out what types of colors are going to look best on you. So take the quiz at yourcolorstyle.com/quiz.
I really wish I could give you a scientific reason how I came up with 5, but 5 just seemed like a good number to me. It seemed to work that if I picked 5 adjectives that I was communicating with what I wore. And before I left the house every day, I asked myself, am I communicating these 5 adjectives, this, and this? Yes, I am. Well, let's go out. Let's do this. I also think it's awesome to use when you're shopping, because if you go into the dressing room and you try on clothes and you say, okay, does this say this, and this? If it's no, you leave it there. And I have returned less clothes. I have bought, made less mistakes with my purchasing since I started doing this. And I've been doing this for almost 15 years. And, I know I have at least 2 other readers that tell me all the time, oh, I started doing this when you did, and it's awesome. And they're telling me this all the time. Hopefully there's more that have done it, but I think it's just a great way to develop your style, because if you do it consistently over and over and over again, what I love is that other people will notice and other people will say to me, oh, I saw this garment at the store and it was so you. And the way they're able to do that is because I'm consistent with what the messaging that I'm sending. Now, my 5 adjectives are chic, strong, approachable, current, and creative. So I ask myself, does this outfit say I'm a strong woman? Does it say I'm a chic woman? Does it say I'm approachable? Does it say I'm current? I use the word current because trendy is not the word I'm going for.
Okay.
Current and trendy are 2 different words. Current just means that I'm up on, what's happening in the fashion industry, or up on what's happening in the world with clothing. But trendy, see, to me, the distressed jeans are trendy. So, and they're not for me because I don't think they communicate chicness. And so that's one of the reasons I don't wear them. And then the 5th word is creative, because I'm a creative person. So I'm creative and I want to be creative, but yet because I also want to be chic and strong, I don't want my creativity to get too out of control.
Right.
I've got these other 2 words that kind of balance it out. Okay.
Approachable. Yeah. Approachable is a really great word.
Yeah. And I'm not looking to be, on Vogue. I'm looking to be a real woman that is communicating strength, is communicating creativity, and the creativity in me is the joy, I hope, in what I wear. And the creativity in me is usually most often communicated through accessories, because I love accessories.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm kind of known for my accessories, for my necklaces and my scarves and things like that. And that's where the creativity will come out. But I have to, and I desire to keep it under control as far as that goes. Now, there may be a day in my life when I'm 80 or 90 that I want to be an Iris Apfel. But right now, I admire her and I love her and I love to look at pictures of her, but I'm not going to dress like her.
Got it.
And because that's not me. That's just not me. That would be me trying to be Iris.
Well, I love that, because I feel like, everybody's personality is different, right? And their adjectives may be something very different. Like maybe if they worked in a very high-end corporate environment, maybe they want to be more seen as someone that's serious, smart, or, or whatever. And so I also feel like those words really describe your personality, at the same time. And so I think that's really good. I noticed that you know them. Do you have them written down, or do you just?
Yes.
You do.
I have them written down. And I will tell you, I recently changed them. So this particular list I've been using for just, maybe 8 months. So I tweaked them just a little bit, because I used to have the word savvy in my list. And one of the reasons I've tweaked them a little bit and included the word approachable is because I feel like I'm moving toward retirement at some point. And so I don't need to be quite as corporate as I've been. In the years since I left teaching and came into the professional world, I got a little boring. So, yeah. I noticed that, and I noticed that the real corporate dress wear just wasn't me. And so I tweaked them a little bit and started thinking, I want to be sure I buy pieces that, yes, I can wear today, but will be in my closet and that I will wear whenever I do retire.
Nice. I love that.
As somebody that's getting older, I think we have to learn to not let the things that happen to us when we're older, not let them hold us back. We need to love the bodies we have right now today and dress them well and feel good about who we are right now today. Well, I can't wear earrings anymore. So I just wear, other things, more necklaces and bracelets and just love the other accessories I've got. I have funky feet. I can't wear heels anymore, but there are so many fun flats. So,
so many colors. Oh, I love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I hope that what I do is inspire other women not to allow things to cause them to feel bad about themselves or to feel like they have setbacks. I can't look good because these things are going on. Well, I think you can look good anytime, no matter what's happening. And I think the amazing women that have embraced breast cancer and gone out with their head shaved and look amazing. Right. And it's because they're sending a message. I'm going to live and I'm going to look great and I'm going to project joy no matter what's going on. And that's what I hope all of us will do.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful thing. Yeah. Yes. I mean, because it's a very brave thing too. And I think it's a very beautiful thing. And so, thank you for sharing that. We forget sometimes that not all of us have a full head of hair, right. And that's, we put a lot of weight on our hair, right? I mean, I know I do. I like making sure that my hair is highlighted and cut just right. And,
yes.
And I know that if I were to, have to lose my hair, I know that at first I'm only human. At first, I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to embrace it. But I also know that I would look to other women who have and be inspired to know that it's the bravest and most beautiful thing you can do is just to own it and just to be who you are at that moment, whatever that is, and I think it's something we have to practice on as well.
Yeah.
We're so hard on ourselves.
We
are, I know. You had said earlier something about refreshing of the reinvention.
Yes.
What is that? Tell me about that.
That was what I just realized. I really just realized this in the last 8 months is that the 2 years in between teaching and going out into the world to be a professional again, I just kind of stagnated. And, so I think I needed a refreshment and I refreshed my hairstyle. I changed it a little bit, talking about hair and I have a new stylist and getting some wonderful highlights that I just love.
All the photo.
I refreshed that. I got a new pair of glasses, which I had done at the first of the reinvention. And then I tweaked the foundational 5 just a little bit. And I have lost some weight and it's taken me a while to be bolder about wearing clothing that fits a little tighter. And so, and now that I'm doing it, I'm loving it, but that does fit a little tighter. And so I'm trying to, have a little bit more courage with that and stepping out a little bit more with that. So it's a tweak, but I think sometimes a tweak is necessary, especially after 15 years.
Well, I'm glad that we're talking about this, because one of the questions I was going to ask you was how do you think your personal style has changed since you started the blog and started really working on yourself? And I like that you basically decided, okay, here's where I am now. It's working, but I'm not feeling myself anymore. And because I think we are always changing. I don't think it's like, oh, it's a one and done deal. And I want to bring that up to our listeners too, that, you know, they may be inspired and go and choose their foundational 5, right? Their 5 adjectives and love it. And then in 5 years from now, it may not work anymore for them because they've changed. And I think that inner confidence can really change your outlook on things. And they may decide, you know what? I actually like being more quiet. I like being more this. And I chose these words because I thought that that's what I should be. But I think the more that we start to kind of be self-aware and get to know ourselves, and you got to start somewhere, right?
Yes.
I think that's when you start to become aware of the fact that some words aren't working. Well, it's okay to change it, right? I mean, that's the whole
absolutely.
point. And I like that you just, you know, you're little things, but making really big differences for you. You know, a new haircut, color, the glasses. Those are just little things, but they can make a huge difference in how we feel about ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing I did was I flipped the order, because it used to be that the strong adjective was first, and it's now at the end, and creative is first, because I decided I want to have a little bit more fun here. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like I had stagnated. And so I thought, I want to have some more fun. So I flipped creative to first. So one of the first questions I ask when I get dressed or when I go shopping is, does this communicate the creative part of me? Does this tell people I'm creative, that I am joyful, that, you know, and so that's what I did. And I do think there are times that we're going to want to tweak or change the messaging. And we may decide, oh, this just isn't working, you know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love that. I hope our listeners go out and write up their 5 and really, really play around with that. So let's talk about color. So
great.
Did you know I love color?
Yes, I
did. What is your favorite color? And do you wear it? And how does it make you feel?
Well, it's hands down, it is a deep saturated, royal purple. And, royal purple is just a color I feel elegant in. It flatters my coloring. I have hazel eyes, and the purple just makes my eyes go babunga green. and I think the communication of the color purple is almost a regal, luxurious, rich, saturated. I love saturated colors. I am wearing, for the first time right now, I'm wearing pink. And I think that's because I tweaked the adjectives and I am liking the pink, but I'm really more a saturated color person that's more of an earth tone. And, much more. And I was so excited. I wrote a blog about it recently. I was so excited that earth tones were actually on trend for spring, which is very unusual for them to be on trend for spring. But most of my wardrobe are the deep saturated colors. I have very, very few pastels. And I love black.
I can see that. Yeah, I can definitely see you looking really, really great in those nice, rich tones. That's a really good word for it. I love that. And you obviously seem very confident in those choices. So then what's a color you avoid wearing that you just will not be seen dead in?
Well, I'm not crazy about, lime green, chartreuse, or it's not one of my favorite. You know, if you had asked me this question 8 months ago, I probably would have told you pink. But I have 3 new pink garments, and of course it depends on shade of pink, but 3 new pink garments that I am enjoying, that I like having in my spring wardrobe. I'm trying to think. Yellow is a tough one. I think I look best in saffron, kind of a yellowish gold.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy the pastel yellows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't really own anything in that color.
Right. Right. Because you have warm undertones and you are deep. And usually people who are deep and warm like that don't wear pastels well at all.
Yeah.
It's out of harmony from you. And so you've already instinctively know that, but just reaffirming what you already are figuring out. Don't worry about the pastels. So do you wear black? It's a hot topic.
I love black. I probably could wear black every day and be completely happy. I love black. And the time that I had my colors done a few years ago, when she told me that I could successfully wear black, I kind of wanted to go yell, yes! I was so happy because I love black. I just love it.
Well, I mean, I love black too. And really, it's pretty harsh on me because I'm so fair. And of course, I tell people who look just like me, avoid black because it can be very, very harsh. But the reality is that if you love it, and a lot of people love wearing black, I mean, just wear it. Like sometimes I think they're just guidelines, but if you want to wear it, wear it. It's really how you feel in the end. And someone who's got ultra confidence wearing black, it's super awesome. So, I wear it.
I do love it, but I have, since I moved the word creative to the top of the list. I am wearing more color. And,
I love that. I like that you're trying pink out because a lot of people think they can't wear pink. And I would argue most of the time there's a pink most people will look really, really great in. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it, which is a shocker. And there's probably some people in my audience are going, wait a second. I thought you said you hated this color.
Well, you gotta try it, right? Sometimes you gotta try something new. And it's surprising, I used to be the same way. I used to avoid pink because I used to think it was like Barbie pink and I would look silly in that, blonde hair and pink. And it took me probably about 3 years ago where I finally was like, what? I kind of like it. I kind of like that color on me and because it's a good color for me. And the more that I wore it, the more I realized, no, I like wearing pink. And, all those stories I've told myself over the years were just a bunch of baloney. It's just all the things we tell ourselves. So, right?
I know. I've done it.
I know. We all do that, I think. So what advice would you give for women who are in transition? And when I say in transition, these are women who their hair is going gray or has gone gray. Maybe they're also in a different transition in life, right? They might be recovering from divorce, empty nest. Their kids have grown and they've got time back. And and I know that this can be also a very painful time in this part of their lives. Either it's still fresh and the change is really, really hard on them, or they're looking now to kind of embrace that next phase. So what kind of advice might you give someone like that's going through that kind of transition?
Well, first of all, I would tell them change is so empowering. It's fun, it's joyful, it's empowering. It will set you on new paths and open up new doors that you just could not even believe were there. So have hope. And the biggest word that you just kind of have to write across your mirror is persevere. Take it one day at a time and decide today, I'm going to be my best me today. I matter. I'm going to have a plan on how to be the best me today, and then get up and do it again the next day and persevere through, and don't let anybody cause you to think badly about yourself. We are all beautiful no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing. We just need to buy into that. We just need to believe it. And,
I love it.
And for some women, gray hair is going to be life changing. It's going to be freedom. I don't have to go get it colored as much. I don't have to worry about it as much. And some women look so not dead gorgeous with silver gray hair. But then there's others of us that feel like we look better with coloring our hair for right now. And so I fight the battle of going once a month, and I want to do that, and I choose to do that because I think it's the best me. But I also understand that there are women my same age that have made the choice to let it be what it really is and own it. And it's just understand that everything you're deciding about you is a personal choice about you. And don't let anybody else cause you to think badly about yourself. So it's all personal choices, all perseverance, and it's a ton of fun. Go to the makeup counter at a department store and get your makeup done and see what you can be that maybe you haven't been. Go seek professionals' opinions. You can get an appointment with a hairstylist just to talk, and you don't have to do anything. They will give you their advice and just talk about it and find out what the processes are. You can't really just go gray. There's a process of going through that if you've been coloring your hair. And just study and learn and go to fashion shows. And, somebody said to me not too long ago, why do you go to fashion shows? There's the craziest, kookiest things up there. I'm always inspired by something. I always learn something from a fashion show that can relate to me and where I am right now. And maybe how to wear colors differently together, or to mix patterns, or to put accessories in a different way. If you go with the desire to learn, you will learn, no matter whether that fashion show was put together for 20 and 30-year-olds or not. There are things there you will see and be inspired by.
Nice. That's great advice. Thank you for that. Should just put that out as one big quote.
Great.
So you obviously, I feel like you have just really come into your own right now, at least in your life. So what do you love about this moment in your life?
Well, I love that first of all, I love that I have a wonderful family. I have 5 incredible grandchildren, and that's the most fun part of my life. The second is that I love that I have a connection with so many women around the world. It's just, it's a lot of fun. And even though I work a lot, I work all day, I come home and work on the blog, I'm constantly working. Some days that gets wearisome, but I think I would miss it so much if I wasn't doing that. It's just so much fun to connect and to talk to women and put that out. And there's a lot of challenges about social media and about blogging, and you will get people that criticize you, but you just have to let go of that and just go forward. I like being active. I like having a life and still being out there and being active. And the word inspiration is what I'm all about. I want to inspire other women. There's so many bloggers who, they've decided for them that they want to blog just solely to make money. And that's fine. To me, making money is a blessing, because I think my number one purpose is to be here to help other women. And that's what I desire to do. And if I ever lose that, then I really do need to kind of hang it up.
That's, and that's what makes your blog so enjoyable to read, because it's very clear that you're not putting a sale first. You're putting yourself first, and you're putting out your thoughts and personal notes on there. And it really makes it for a really nice, personal read and inspiration. So what you just said is very consistent with what your blog feels like when you come to it. So it's a really beautiful place to hang out and to check out. Definitely.
That makes me feel good. You made my day.
Well, then we're done. That was easy. So, one last question then for you. What's next?
That's such a great question. I would love to do what you're doing. I'd love to do a podcast. I have wanted to write a book my entire life since I was 11 years old. I don't know if that'll ever happen just because I'm so busy, but, I just kind of get up every morning and think what's next, and just kind of see where we go. So many fun things have happened that I never, if you had told me that I would have been flown to LA to be in a campaign with Walmart And if you had told me that I'd be modeling at age 65, I mean, that alone is hysterical. And there's just so many fun parts of this that, it'd make a great sitcom that are enjoyable and funny and just so much fun to do. I don't know. I mean, if I ever get to retire from working full time, then I feel like I could tackle that book, and I'd love to be able to do that.
Write that book. I had to lock myself into my room for days to finish mine, because it was one of those things where I kept punting and punting and punting. But, it's such an accomplishment just to get a chapter done.
Oh,
but I hear
know.
You. Sometimes you just gotta.
Somebody said, you just write a chapter a day or something. I'm going, seriously? A chapter?
Yeah, it seems so simple. It's not. Like, I'm not going to even pretend. It's not easy because you have other priorities, right? And sometimes my priority is to literally sit down and watch TV with a glass of wine. Like, that is my priority.
Yes. Just to chill. You've got to be able to do that. I think that's a good part of our mental health and our health, to be able to just take some time out for ourselves and chill. And sometimes that is at home with a glass of wine. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely. Wine's my best friend.
Yes.
Pamela, this has been such a great talk. If people want to find you online, how can they do that?
Well, it's over50feeling40.com. If you put over 50 feeling 40 into Google, you'll get me. And, it's OVER with the number 50, FEELING with the number 40. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Pinterest. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. And so you can find me a lot of different places. And I love talking to people. Send me an email if you have things you want to know about. I'll be happy to help out.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Pamela. This has been really, really a great talk. I've had so much fun, and I'm super inspired. I'm going to go write down my 5 adjectives.
Oh, great. Let me know what they are.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
So take a look at her blog, After 50 Feeling 40, and write down your foundational 5. In fact, put them in the comments in the blog, and let's share with each other what our 5 adjectives are. I think it's going to really just be fun to play with and to see how that defines your personal style. Thank you so much for listening to the Your Color Style podcast, where we believe the more you know about color, the more you'll know what colors flatter you best.